Welcome, everybody, to the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce. I'm Ray Andrews. I'm Executive Director of the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce. We're the affiliate chamber of the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce. And today we're going to learn about something because many of you are here for this exciting presentation on AI, artificial intelligence, Chat GPT, learning how to use this emerging dynamic technology. We have an excellent presentation planned for you here today, courtesy of our Tech Council. And we'll be learning a little bit more in the next hour through interactive work for you, a little bit of opportunity for you to do some homework in this session, and then ask some questions of someone from an expert, Dr. Chetan Jeswal, Dr. J from Quinnipiac University. And we certainly want you all to be participating and engaged in this presentation. So we want to thank all of you for being with us here today and for all the work that you do to promote business in our area. And before we get started, I'd like to make a few introductory remarks to all of you here. So just so you know, coming up, we do have a lot of events which we'll be highlighting later on in our presentation here today. But this opportunity for discussion, this council and conversation comes to you courtesy of our friends over at Avelo Airlines. For those of you who have taken their nonstop to Florida, to Charleston, South Carolina, Savannah, and other ports along the and places along the East Coast, they have done a great job with Tweed New Haven Airport too. And today our Technology Council is bringing you this program on artificial intelligence. We want to let you know that this is made possible by UNIPEN. And joining us here for a few remarks, our sponsor of the Technology Council, David Gemma, who's with us here today. David is the CEO and CMO of UNIPEN. David.
Oh, thank you, Ray, and thank everyone for joining us today. As you said, I'm David Gemma, CEO of UNIPEN, and we're proud to be a sponsor today for the Technology Council, which is essentially a consortium of vendors whose products and services help Connecticut businesses grow. And UNIPEN is a Connecticut high-tech firm, and over the past 30 years, we've been helping Connecticut businesses go faster, safer. And by go faster, I mean operational efficiency. We integrate systems, centralize data, automate workflows, reduce manual effort so businesses can scale. And by go safer, I mean we protect those businesses with IT services, disaster recovery, cybersecurity, so those systems are available, running smoothly and securely. And AI is helping all of these efforts behind the scenes. AI sifts through mountains of data with much more accuracy than prior technologies. So healthcare is a great example of how researchers and doctors can scan through millions of permutations to find ways to create better antibiotics or get test results processed sooner so that doctors can start treating sooner. In the cybersecurity side, tools can identify and detect cyber attacks in real time and help our IT experts identify trends and threats to enable them to take preventative actions. So for decades, UNIPEN has recognized that businesses across many different industries can't keep up with these ever-growing mountains of data. So we've applied software technology and automatically searching and proactively presenting key information to the right people at the right time, making everyone more efficient and effective. So I hope today in this webinar, you come away with a better understanding of the past, present, and future of AI, and hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David, and thanks to UNIPEN for making this Technology Council a big, vital programming that we're receiving here today. Thanks again. Also, our Technology Council has leadership. Here is Ed Tankus, who is also an ambassador with the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce, owner and president of Elian Technologies, and chairs our Technology Council. Ed?
Thanks, Ray, and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining this AI presentation. We're really looking forward to it. This is a first in a series of presentations that the Tech Council is going to be presenting this year. We expect one on cybersecurity in July, something more on AI or related subject in September. And of course, in November at the Big Connect, we're expecting to have a hands-on clinic or workshop with AI. I'd also like to thank Dr. J, as he's known, for putting together today's presentation. AI is an ever-present and omnipresent presence in our society these days. It affects us in so many different ways without us even realizing it. It can be an extremely useful tool. And as others have said, it could be something that we need to keep our eyes on and our hands around and not let it get out of hand. The presentation I think that Dr. J is giving today is going to give us a really broad swath of what's going on in AI, what's happening, where it came from, where it might be going, and to give everyone here sort of a look behind the scenes as to AI itself. So thank you again for everyone. And again, I'm Ed Tankus from Reliant Technologies. We primarily do outsource IT work, website development, and managed Wi-Fi, and quite a bit more. So again, thank you for joining us for today's webinar. And if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. And I'm sure there'll be questions along the way for the presentation as well. But I'm looking forward to this webinar myself too.
Great. Thanks, Ed. Thanks for all you do with the Tech Council and here with our chamber. Now, our program. Many of you have questions and are very eager. That's why you're here today, to learn more about AI, ChatGPT, and all the applications. So what we need to do as a Technology Council and also as a Chamber of Commerce is located our experts. And the reason we do this is we want you to hear it from people who deal with this and understand this every single day. So bringing this program to you today from Quinnipiac University is Dr. Chetan Jaiswal. Dr. J, as he is known, is a computer science professor, very expert in AI. And Dr. J, welcome. We're very happy that you're with us today. If you can unmute your microphone and take our presentation away right now, we'd love to hear more about AI as you present. Thank you for being with us here.
Thank you, Ray. And thank you, Tech Council, for having me. I'm happy to be here. Let's get on this with AI, as everyone says. So let me start sharing my screen, and we'll go from there. All right, so welcome everyone in this basic sort of fundamental understanding and talk about what AI is and where it started, what's going on right now, how and why it became so popular in recent past, ChatGPT and other AI advances, and where are we headed with this. I am Dr. J, computer science professor at School of Computing and Engineering at Quinnipiac University. In today's talk, we will go over different topics, like a basic introduction, where AI came, what AI is, and then where it came from. What exactly is AI? How does it basically work? And is AI gonna take over everything, meaning singularity, where AI becomes conscious? Where are we in that, or are we even headed in that direction? How quantum computing is relevant to AI. Does all AI we see is good, or some of them is bogus? So we'll talk about that as well. We'll also go over if and how what industries are affected in a good way or a bad way. And we'll talk about some statistics as well. And in the middle of this, we will have some hands-on activity, probably later as well, and in the earlier as well of this presentation, so that we can actually do something as we are having a discussion with this. And then I'll also talk about how we here at Quinnipiac are very excited to collaborate and work with you all in different aspects of artificial intelligence. There's in chat showing in presenter view and not show. Will you be able to share the presentation with us? I'll definitely be able to share presentation. If Ray, do you want to answer the questions in
So,
the chat?
Dr. J, we can see your screen. I think the
Okay.
person is just referencing that we can see the next slide.
Okay, gotcha.
So if you can maybe go to display settings at the top,
Okay,
and there should be a drop down that says, if you can uncheck that, so we can just see one without your preview. I think that's what they're
is that
asking.
it?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay.
That's it.
All right, that was great. Thank you. All right. So talking about AI, and especially why AI is getting a lot of attention and why suddenly. So there's a lot of things. This slide is not even big enough for me to go over why AI is getting a lot of attention, but I have compiled some very prominent ways in which AI has grabbed our attention, especially recently. And one of the big player is ChatGPT, and we'll be using ChatGPT today as well to do a variety of tasks. And I'll give you options. You can choose whichever option you want to go with. There are other AI engines like Bard or Bing's generative AI. So there are many different engines that have become very popular in recent past. One of the big reasons and the talk of the town is AI is going to replace a lot of jobs, and AI is going to take over all the jobs, which is not really the case. And I'll have more data and more discussion coming ahead in that aspect as well. But AI is useful as far as we can see. And what different ways it has been useful is that it can help us generate any sort of products which uses natural language, like if it's a news article, if it's some sort of project report and whatnot. On a lighter side, AI can also work as a virtual girlfriend or a boyfriend or a partner. And there's a Snapchat influencer that actually created a virtual girlfriend using AI. On a more serious work, AI can design and generate images, color schemes, pictures, even videos. AI can do a lot of audio visual editing of tuning as well. AI can be your personal travel agent, if you will. It can make reservations for you without any third party's assistance. AI can run air traffic control tower. It can schedule flights. It can control traffic, and it can do all of this at the same time. A lot of different projects running it as we speak that can actually use AI to sort waste from organic, inorganic, and compost. It can sort the waste as it goes on the conveyor belt. AI can diagnose cancer. It can identify exoplanets from the deep space data. It can have a real conversation. We have to define what real is, but you can have a conversation with AI. It can identify genes in human evolution responsible for cancer or obesity or different sort of issues. AI can drive a car. Tesla and many other companies are working on it as we speak. And like I said, there's many more things that AI has given us in recent past, and it has become so much more popular. So we'll talk as we go more. So AI could potentially make some human jobs obsolete, right? As a lot of news articles and a lot of folks keeps talking about, but statistics actually doesn't support that. AI probably could take some jobs away, but it's going to give us way more jobs. So if we look at the World Economic Forum, AI will create 97 million jobs, but we don't have the skill set required as of yet. AI is expected to create 12 million more jobs than it is expected to replace. And since AI is so exciting and it's giving us new frontiers, by 2030, the global AI market is going to be worth over $1.5 trillion. AI, since it is giving us access to unknown frontiers, it will pave path for a better healthcare system in next 5 years. And by healthcare system, I mean it'll be able to better diagnose diseases. Almost 92% of leading businesses, as we speak, are investing and are going to invest more in an ongoing basis. So the reason why AI is getting a lot of attention is because it's helpful. It is going to create more jobs. It is helping us to get to new frontiers, new aspects that were never thought were possible. So AI does have a lot of good to offer. Where does AI start? Well, let's go back to in history a little bit. If we talk about the 20th century specifically, the Hollywood of science fiction in 20s and 30s gave us a sort of a glimpse of what AI might look in the future. In the movie Wizard of Oz, the Heartless Tin Man, or the humanoid robot that impersonated Maria in Metropolis, as you can see on the screen, that was probably the first occurrence of something that is artificially intelligent, coming from the fiction, of course. But following this in 1950s, several different scientists and mathematicians and even philosophers came with the idea of intelligence that could be related to machines, because this was the time where machines were getting to do a lot more work for us. The pioneer, the father of modern computing, Alan Turing, actually did the math and found out that how mathematically it is possible or even plausible to think about how machine can solve problems and reasons and do a lot of reasoning just like humans do. However, in 50s and even later, Alan Turing and most of other mathematicians and scientists were limited with the amount of computing power they had and amount of data they had. And we'll talk more why the data and computing is important when it comes to intelligence, especially artificial intelligence, as we go. But going away from 50s, in 1956, the first AI program was presented at Dartmouth Summer Research Project on Artificial Intelligence. And it actually gave us an answer that mathematically it actually is possible. However, computationally, we don't have that strong computers or systems that can actually work with it. In 50s to 70s, AI continued to flourish, even though it was limited, but it was demonstrated that this could actually work. In 1970, Marvin Minsky told the Life magazine that in 3 to 8 years, we will have a machine with general intelligence of an average human being. As we know, it didn't work out quite well because, again, the limit was the computing strength, the computing power we had. It wasn't much to handle the intelligence or the programs that we were trying to run. In 1980s came the idea of deep learning, and as we'll go ahead in this talk, we'll talk more about deep learning and why the current AI engines are very much exploring the idea of deep learning. But in the 80s, the idea of deep learning was proposed. 90s and 2000s, even early late 2000s, AI kept thriving. It wasn't a talk of the town because it wasn't doing any general purpose computing, just like ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT, anyone can interact, but we had AI system in 1990s and 2000s as well, like IBM's Deep Blue or Google's AlphaGo, which actually defeated a lot of champions in chess or the Chinese Go champion as well. IBM kept working and NASA even kept working. We had autonomous robots, with some sort of intelligence built into them, like our Mars rover, Spirit and Opportunity. Even our Roomba also has some sort of intelligence built into it. Google's DeepMind came into picture. Google's Dupless AI came into picture. Microsoft became a big player with their own learning model, and then ChatGPT came, and many other engines just followed after that. And this is where we are in this time where our ChatGPT, I'm saying our because it belongs to all of us, right? We all can use it. We may not own it, but we all can use it. It has already cracked SAT, LSAT, bar exam, and whatnot in record time, so to speak. So that sort of a step back into the history of AI and how it affected where we are today. So it's not new. It has been around for a while. We talk about it's been around for a while. It does a lot of things for us. But what basically an AI is, or what is artificial intelligence? Well, it's in simple words, and this is my own definition, if you will. Any machine or any model that learns from existing information and experience, that adapts to changes, and it understands, or a better word would be, is trained to language, speech, decision-making, and visual perception. So a machine that can understand speech, or is trained to understand speech, a machine that can make decisions, a machine that can understand pictures, or visual, can have some sort of visual perception, and that it learns from it and gets better. That's how I would define an artificial intelligence. So before we move ahead, let's have our first task in hand. And I'm going to time this task. It's a very simple task. I would like all of you to participate in. It's very simple. We're going to try ChatGPT, and you're free to post your answers in the chat. Very simple prompts. What is an AI? Then whatever answer ChatGPT gives you, then you ask ChatGPT again, hey, can you answer in a paragraph? And then you can ask ChatGPT again, hey, can you reformat your answer in a small paragraph? And so on and so forth. So let's try this, and let's see what ChatGPT has to offer to us. And let's see if our answers are even different from each other. So please take a few minutes. Let's try ChatGPT, and let's see how it works. And I'm going to try with you as well. So we can ask, sorry?
I'm just going to mention, Dr. J, if anybody's just joining us, we see a few late participants. In our chat, we do have the link. If you have not signed up for being able to access ChatGPT and these exercises, there is a link where you can very quickly sign up and join in on these exercises. So just wanted to mention that, Dr. J.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ray. So let's interact with our ChatGPT, and let's ask ChatGPT, hey, what is an AI? And again, you are free to do at your end as well. And ChatGPT gives us a fantastic answer, like, hey, AI refers to simulation of human intelligence and whatnot. There is narrow AI, there is general intelligence AI or general AI, and so on and so forth. And this is like having a live lecture with an actual person, but it actually is ChatGPT. But we can actually even make it customized if we have an answer. We have lots of posts in the chat, so yeah, feel free to use that. And we can ask ChatGPT, hey, can you answer again in 3 lines? So let's see if ChatGPT gives us 3-line answer. Sort of 3-line answer. Answer in 1 line. It even understood even if I made a typo. And that's the intelligence that we talk when we talk about ChatGPT. We can ask even better questions than what is an AI. We can ask, hey, can you help me make travel reservations? So let's try this. Can you help me make travel reservations. So ChatGPT says, I cannot make reservations because I don't have access to it. However, I can guide you through the process of making travel reservations and provide relevant information such as flight options, hotel recommendation, or general travel tips. I think this is fantastic. Even though ChatGPT cannot directly make reservation, it can at least help us make the right decision, which is exciting, because before this, we didn't have that. We didn't have that option. What I would do is I'll go to Google Flights and find the best options based on my intelligence. But now we have some ChatGPT that can help us in that decision making. We can even ask another question to ChatGPT. We can say, hey, I am a mailman. Can you plan a shortest path for me for a bunch of places I have to visit? So I'm just going to copy this from here. And again, feel free to formulate your own question with ChatGPT. It's open to all. You can ask any questions to ChatGPT. I'm going to ask this question. I'm a mailman. Can you plan a shortest path for me for a bunch of places I have to visit? And there you have it. It says, yes, I can plan the shortest path for places you need to visit. So you can say, I want to visit Boston. I want to visit Hartford, and then I want to visit New York. What's the shortest path to do that? So ChatGPT gives us an NLP, which is natural language a solution where we can interact. As humans, we are so much more comfortable having conversation in English, for example, than actually using numbers. And in background of ChatGPT, it's a lot of math going on, but what we see on our end is a very natural language answer, and that's the beauty of AI. It can translate from one form to the other. I'm just going to quickly chat. Quickly check the chat. Fantastic. Yeah, very good. Excellent. Thank you for posting your answers. This is fantastic. So, like you see, it's a very simple interface, if you will, when it comes to using ChatGPT, and we can use any prompt you want. Later in our presentation, we're going to make a little more. Let ChatGPT do a little more work for us. So when we get there, I'll be right there with you. Moving on, we can also ask ChatGPT to generate PowerPoint presentation for us. We can ask ChatGPT to generate a kid-friendly story for us. So what I would ask you is pick any one of the prompts, and please follow what ChatGPT tells you. And let's see if ChatGPT can create PowerPoint presentation for us, or it can generate a kid-friendly story for us. While you are doing that, if you want, you can take a picture of the screen, so you have the prompts. In the meantime, in next minute or so, I'll show you. I used ChatGPT like before, probably earlier this morning or yesterday, to create many different PowerPoint slides, even a story for my daughter, which was fantastic. So I'll show you. But yeah, I think I would like you to pick any prompt out of one of these 4 prompts, and let's see if ChatGPT can help us create content or create PowerPoint or design a story. Well, I think the first and the third prompt is same. So instead of history of AI, you can say history of humans. And the last prompt is also same. So that is weird. Looks like my PowerPoint didn't get updated. It's a Visual Basic. So VB stands for Visual Basic. It's a language that sort of a programming language, but as far as ChatGPT is concerned, you don't have to use it. You just have to do copy paste. So you can copy what ChatGPT gives you, and you can paste in PowerPoint, and it'll tell you exactly how to do that. So I'll show you what I did, and apparently my PowerPoint didn't get updated. So here's what I did. I asked ChatGPT to generate 3 different PowerPoint presentations. The first one was AI history, as you can see on my screen. The second one was create a PowerPoint presentation for healthcare system. And the third one was, can you create a PowerPoint presentation for investment banking? So I'll show you what these PowerPoints are generated by ChatGPT. For example, this is what ChatGPT generated for me in like 30 seconds, and I created these slides probably like in 2 minutes. So I think these are fantastic slides to present as far as I'm concerned. Let me show you a next set of slides, what ChatGPT generated. This is healthcare system presentation. It says, well, why our country needs a better healthcare system. This is all generated by ChatGPT, by the way. It's not my content. I did not do it. All I did was I used ChatGPT to generate these PowerPoint slides. And this is all ChatGPT. I think these are fantastic slides as far as I'm concerned. So someone asked in the chat, how does the code translate into a PowerPoint? When you ask ChatGPT, it actually tells you to copy the code and paste it into PowerPoint's code editor. So all we have to do is copy paste. So if you follow the prompt of ChatGPT, it'll tell you how to do it. Just for simplicity, I'm also going to do this. I'm going to see, I'm going to copy my own prompt and show you what ChatGPT will do. So I'll do this. Here, so this is what I asked. So this is the code ChatGPT is generating for me. And again, we don't have to understand the code. The point is, can we use it? And I'll show you how to use it. And yes, George, I think this is really cool too. And we'll talk about how we can verify if it is correct or not. So here's the code that is generated. So what you can do is you can copy this code from here, copy code. You can go to whichever PowerPoint prompt you want, create a new PowerPoint, and then go to Alt F11. Here, all you have to do is insert module and paste whatever code it has given to you. Change the path, put the path to wherever you want to save it. For example, let's say if I want to save it right here. So I'll copy this path and I'll put that path here. Once this is done, all you have to do is go to run, and I'm going to call it AI History 2 presentation. And I'm just going to say run. And it has some error. What is that? Debug. And let me try it again. Again, what is the issue? Looks like it's giving some issue. So we might have to check the code again. Yesterday, it wasn't giving me this issue, but it's Murphy's Law. If something can go wrong, it will go wrong. But yeah, we can definitely use ChatGPT for generating PowerPoint presentations, just like this. We can also ChatGPT, can you write a story for a 9-year-old, for example? Right, so ChatGPT will give you, a story for a 9-year-old. What I did was I asked ChatGPT to create a story for this. And instead of creating a simple story, I asked it to generate a web page. And once the web page was generated, it looked like this. So once upon a time, if you can still see my screen, I click. Once in a land far away, there was a magical forest filled with talking animals. And it keeps on going. The more I click, it keeps on going. The point is, I did not write this code. It was all done by ChatGPT. All I did was copy paste from ChatGPT. So the point, ChatGPT may not, generate the best looking, for example, story, but I mean, this is pretty good in my books. So we can use ChatGPT for several different things as we like. There could be issues with ChatGPT at times because it's a free version, right? So if we were to use the paid version, it might be even better. But yeah, I think PowerPoint generation is pretty straightforward. And if there's a question. How do you paste PowerPoint Alt F11? So if it's a Windows computer, if you press Alt and F11, it opens that window. And if it's Mac, I don't know how you open at Mac, but I'll look it up for you. And yeah, reach out to me and I'll probably be able to share, or just Google or ask ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT should be able to help you with that. Where would you paste the VBA code to create the PowerPoint? You have to open the macro editor, and for that, if it's Windows, you will press Alt F11, and that'll open that editor window, the editor window for you. Continuing, so again, there's so many different prompts we can. I know it is very exciting. I realize that there are so many things we can do when it comes to ChatGPT or interacting with AI. But when you look what AI is doing, it's not sudden, as we know. AI is driven by certain things. As we talked earlier, AI is driven by data. So the more data there is, it gets better because it can learn more, just like humans, just like us. The more we do something, the more our brain learns about that, and the better we get at that. For example, I was not good at playing tennis, but I kept playing, and now I think I'm better at it. So my brain learned about it, and that's really how AI does it. The more data we give it, the better it is able to learn about different things. Oh, thank you, Ed. And the more computing power is, realize that the more data we have, the more computing we need to process that data, to work with that data. In this era, we have computing power and we have ways to store and work with that data. And that's why we can actually deal with this. And that's why AI actually is getting, more and more and more data, and AI is getting more and more computing power because we have machines that are way faster now than they were 10 years ago, for example. And here's a simple example of how much data and how much computing power we have had. So if you look towards the data burst, in 2010, we had, and the unit here is zettabytes, and 1 zettabyte is roughly equal to 500 billion movies. So if you look on the left, we had barely any data in 2010. But if you look to 2022, 2023, we have almost close to 125 zettabytes. That is a lot of data. And since we have more data, and the projected is probably close to 200 zettabytes in 2025. So we are generating a lot more data. And since we are generating a lot more data, AI has more data to work with. Since AI has more data to work with, AI also needs faster computing power. And thus, if you look on the left-hand side, our computing power, there's a lot more to learn in that figure, but I'm not going to go much technical. But as you can see, our the power consumption has become constant, but our number of transistors had gone up. Transistor is the one of the smallest unit of our computer. So what it really means is our performance has gone way higher with the same amount of energy we use, with the same amount of cost we use. So more computing power and more data. Well, that's where AI comes in. As you can see, this is from University of Texas Research Center. We are trying, artificial intelligence is basically trying to imitate human brain. So are we close to being artificially intelligent? Well, it all depends how close we can imitate a human brain. So if you see here, we are somewhere close to the rat's brain in imitating it. So University of Texas Austin's Lone Star cluster is very close to imitating human brain. And it's not very far that we can get there to the intelligence, if you will, of human brain. How long it's going to take, no one knows. 2 years, 20 years, 200 years, none of us know. But we are working towards it. And the whole idea of artificial intelligence is to mimic a human brain. And that's where really we are. In order to see why this mimicking is important, let's think about, we all want to buy a house, or some of us already bought a house in Connecticut, right? If we are buying a house, what do we look at? Well, I need this much square footage. I have this much money. What kind of house can I buy? So we will do all these calculations in our head, or in our notebook. We are doing all these calculations in our phone, and using a calculator even. What AI does is, AI says, AI can do this task for us in a very simple way. So let's simplify how AI actually works and how this simplification relates to mimicking human brain. So let's say we are buying a house in Connecticut, and we have only one parameter of square footage, and I only want one output, which is cost. So what do? Well, we come up with this sort of figure, which says, well, again, this is not to the scale. These are imaginary numbers I came up with, which I hope are pretty decent, but we'll see. So on the left-hand side, you see cost, and which is the y-axis, and on the x-axis, you have square footage. As you can see, 1,000 square foot house is 150 grand. A 2,000 square foot house is 185 grand, and so on and so forth. Now, if I were to use this data that I have in my the figure you see, how can I sort of come up with an average number that I plug in square footage and it gives me an approximate cost, right? Would we call that an AI? Well, sort of, because it's not doing a lot, but at least it's giving me an output based on an input that I'm giving. So if you can think about that, this is sort of a line. Again, I'm not going to go much math here, but this line sort of gives us a projection. So let's say if I want to buy a 3,500 square footage house. So the cost is going to be, if we can sort of look at it, the cost is going to be somewhere around, I would say 450, 425, somewhere around there, based on this line. So this is pretty straightforward, right? So we wouldn't call it like a smart or very sophisticated AI, but let's change this. Let me look at the question if I can answer any of the question. What if we achieve the intelligence of a human brain and the AI also chooses to be as arbitrary and evil as some human beings? That's a very good question, Isaiah. And I think as human race, we have to ponder upon these questions. we have to think about that. And I do agree that there are endless possibilities which way it can go. But coming back to this, let's say it's only square footage is not my parameter. I want to do more. So let's say if I'm gonna if I have more inputs than square footage, what if I want zip code? What if I want how many floors I need? What if I want bathrooms? What if I want bedrooms? So I can have many number of inputs, and I only want one output. What should be the appropriate cost for that? Now, this simple model of a simple line that goes through all my data is not going to cut it. We need something more sophisticated, and that's where mimicking human brain comes in. This is something which is called neural network. So how does neural network work in our brains? Well, it has neurons, and the neurons pass information from one neuron to other neuron. When data or information, I shouldn't call it data, when information goes from in our brain, goes from one neuron to other neuron, it becomes better or it loses. So either thing happens. At the end of the day, all of this information in our brain help us to do what we do, whether it's walking, whether it's talking, doing a webinar, trying ChatGPT. All this is possible because the information that is being passed in our neurons. So our brain learns when information goes from one neuron to the next neuron. That's really what we are doing in deep learning now. This is how deep, this is very, very simple idea of deep learning. And what are we doing here is, if you look at this figure right here, this is your neural network. This is what is called neural network. So whether it's a Google, ChatGPT, any AI engine you can think of, this is pretty much what we are doing. I'm not going to go into much technical detail, but I think we all can understand what's going to go here. So each input becomes one of the input to this network, sort of. Based on this information, these neurons learn something about this data because the data is going here, right? The data is going here. And based on the information this layer learns, this layer gives that a more sophisticated form of that information to this. And this is my output. This is my cost of the house I'm trying to buy in Connecticut. So what's going on here? This network is trying to relate cost with inputs, with output with inputs. So how is this cost related to square footage? How is this cost related to zip code? This is what this network is trying to learn. And the more data we have, the more it learns. So for example, if I have data of, I don't know, 10,000 houses in Connecticut. So my network has 10,000 opportunities to learn the relationship between the cost and the inputs, that is square footage, zip code, floors, bathrooms, bedrooms, whatnot. And once it has learned this relationship, we can use this knowledge to make predictions. Hey, so this is my new house I'm trying to buy, and I need this much square footage. I need these many floors. This network uses the knowledge it learned from past using 10,000 points of data to tell you, hey, what should be the appropriate cost? And this is really how most AI engines work. It's all about more data we have, the more learning we have. Well, in order to have more data, we need more storage, which we have now. In order to learn, we need to do more computing. Well, we have better computers now. And I think we can now see why AI is getting more and more common, because, well, we can do these things now. But moving on, so this is really how very simple way AI works. And if I were to project this, what's going on in the world right now? Well, AI is fantastic in detecting breast cancer, for example, or skin cancer, for example. This is all from different research papers, and I have the links, the references down there. But you see, that's exactly what's going on. Input images are the images of the cancer. Our neural network in the middle, if you see right here, this network learns what breast cancer looks like or what skin cancer looks like. Once it learns, when you give new images, it uses that knowledge to predict if the cancer is malignant or benign. And same with skin cancer as well. So the idea is same, whether it comes to simple AI networks, like we just saw buying a house in Connecticut, or if it's more complicated, like medical diagnosis for different cancers or something else. So the idea remains the same. And I think this is the beauty of AI. This is all good. This is all fantastic, but we have very fast computing, but there's this new realm of computing that's coming up, which is called quantum computers. Well, some people say quantum computers are the future. Well, but possibly they are the futures. They can solve problems that would take normal computer billions of years to solve. They will take billions of years, and quantum computers can actually do them in a matter of minutes. What different things they can help, they can bring us. They can do new drug discovery. They can have new material design, some genome resequencing. Google is already working on quantum AI. So that's probably the next step for us, where we are headed. The question, let me take a question. If incorrect or corrupted data or information is pulled into a search, won't that lead the AI to learn and move further from truth? Absolutely. And that's why whenever we are training our AI, you need to synthesize or pre-process data before actually AI learns from it. There is something, again, I can't go much deeper, but there's something which is called bias. And as an AI model, we can control that bias. So that AI is not biased towards one kind of data if it's an outlier. For what is the oversight process and mass bias? Oh, that'll need more time for me to answer, but I'm happy to answer. So please feel free to email me, and we can probably talk more about it. Thank you for the question. All right, so coming back. Probably quantum computers and the combination of artificial intelligence is the future where we are headed. Can anyone think of some impossible problems that normal computers right now can't solve, but probably future computers may be able to solve? Any impossible problems can anyone think of? Put in the chat, if you will. I can think of one. Oh, there it is. Oh, no. Is there one? Yeah, world peace. Absolutely. Quantum computers and AI can help us, find ways in which politics could be streamlined. How big is the unit? Fantastic. Very good point, David. Fair taxes, 100% agreed. How about time travel? I think time travel would be a fantastic problem to solve, which we are limited by the technology we have right now. So thank you for the inputs. I think there are lots of different impossible problems that a combination of quantum computing and AI would solve. But moving ahead, there we still have miles to go. There are lots of good AI tools, and there are lots of AI tools that I question, like, why? I don't find any use to that. So the point I'm trying to make is AI is a good tool, but I personally think that now everyone is coming with these new AI tools, which may or may not be useful. For example, even if someone talked about ChatGPT, I got this from somewhere. We asked ChatGPT what it looked like, and ChatGPT, someone already mentioned it doesn't recognize ASCII art, and this is ChatGPT recognizes this as Mona Lisa, which is funny at many different levels. These are many different AI engines that are out there in the market, and I find almost most of them pretty useless. But that's just me. Some of people might find them really useful. But there is this AI rush now. Now everyone wants to come up with a new AI engine. There's this. I can show you this one before we move ahead. This is called Secta AI, and again, I don't know them who they are, but they convert selfies to professional headshots with AI. And I mean, like, if I need a headshot, I'll get a headshot. But again, there's so many different AI popped up out of nowhere. And if you look at the slide, and I'll be happy to share these slides. There's so many different AI engines. some might find them useful, some might find, I personally find them, like probably not. But yeah, some may find them useful as well. So there's that. AI won't replace any jobs, but AI won't replace you, but a person using AI might. So I think it's a very good prediction. AI is making our industries evolve way faster than ever before, whether it's healthcare, whether it's logistics, whether it's cybersecurity, whether it's defense, whether it's language services. And again, this is not a comprehensive list. AI is affecting at many, many, many different places. Oh, thank you for the questions there. Again, I think I'm gonna go to my almost end of this podcast, this presentation. What's the takeaway from today's discussion? Well, I think from today's discussion, I think the takeaway would be that AI is growing. We have generated historic amount of data, and our computing power is way better than ever before. AI is going to be a critical tool for so many different frontiers that we don't even know that it exists. AI probably is slowly stepping towards singularity, but we are not there yet. It has a long distance to go. Singularity means when AI is conscious, AI is self-conscious. I don't think we are there yet. But some people may have different inputs on that. AI might one day mimic a human brain, but the key word here is mimic. It won't replace human being. AI does need regulations, but in this market where AI is an open tool, how regulations would work, something to think about. Probably start accepting AI and using AI will be easier alternative. I have a couple of courses here on the link from Google and one from Deep Learning. They'll help you to understand and how to use even ChatGPT. So there's a course that teaches you how to use ChatGPT. How funny is that? But there is one. Feel free to use that. And as a final statement, I think not all AI is good or useful. Don't pay subscription prices to these AI rush engines that are out there unless you are certain actually it's going to be useful for you. With this, I'm going to end, and I'm going to talk probably 10 seconds about there are several different projects we are working on different custom AI engines for different businesses, whether it's focus detection for Zoom classrooms and work meetings, or detecting consumer products that contains harmful chemicals or ingredients. There are many different projects we have here at QU that we are working towards. We are also probably launching an AI monitor pretty soon here in fall 23. And we are very happy to, and we welcome all the collaborations and ideas you may have toward new research and new development of AI. With this, I'll stop, and I don't know if I have time for questions, but I'll be happy to take questions.
Dr. Jay, thank you for a meaningful and terrific presentation, and thank you for sharing here all of your contact information. We will be, as Tamika Miller, my colleague, put in the chat, sharing this later this afternoon on our YouTube channel. You can access it at any time and go back and relearn what we've learned in the last hour. I think we all speak from all of our participants here today that we've learned a lot, Dr. Jay. So thank you so much for everything that you brought to us here today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, it was absolutely wonderful. So I do want to say to all of you, thank you for joining us here at the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce event today. We want to say that we've enjoyed Dr. Jay's presentation, and we hope that you all come back to some of our other events that we have planned coming up in the future here with the Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce. I would like to highlight a couple of our events. Dr. William Tong, who is our Attorney General, will be with us. If you enjoyed our event here on today, we certainly have that coming up on June 21st, and that is going to be at the chamber offices, and you can register at gnhcc.com. Other events that we will be having coming up include the Quinnipiac Chamber of Commerce annual meeting and business awards. That's June 14th. It'll be at the Farms in Wallingford. Ren Pecknall, who is the head coach of the national champion Quinnipiac Bobcats hockey team, will be our keynote speaker, receiving a special reception that day for all of our incoming board members and our 6 business awardees. And of course, the June 21st event I've mentioned with William Tong will be coming up, sponsored by Avelo Airlines. And then later on this summer, and we're certainly looking for your participation, the 21st Annual Health and Life Sciences Award that'll be coming up at Anthony's Ocean View. You can register at gnhcc.com for all of our events. We want to thank David Gemma and Unipen for your sponsorship of our Technology Council at GNHCC, Greater New Haven Chamber. Thank you so much, David, for all your participation. Ed Tankus, our chair of the Technology Council. Ed, thank you so much for all that you do as well. And certainly Dr. J, we thank you so much for a wonderful presentation on AI, ChatGPT, and everything today. We learned a lot. Thank you so much for participating.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Please join us again, Greater New Haven Chamber of Commerce, for upcoming events. And again, this afternoon, you can watch this presentation on our YouTube channel. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a wonderful day.